and beyond. We've got sports as well as business news to keep you informed and aware of the latest in the country. But first, it's time for the highlights.
The first accused is sentenced to death in each of the 3 counts. The death sentence in counts 2 and 3 are held in abeyance.
It is a death sentence for police officer Frederick Leliman in the murder of lawyer Willie Kimani in 2016, as 3 others are jailed for up to 30 years.
Number 1, it is paying. Number 2, repaying on time. Number 3, borrowing regularly. Number 4, saving regularly.
Rewarding obedient clients. Government reviews credit limits for over 6 million disciplined Hustler Fund borrowers. And water is soon becoming a luxury as Warma proposes to hike tariffs by over 5 shillings per cubic meter. Welcome to Easy Friday. My name is Shiksha, Arora, and our sign language interpreter tonight is Susan Thuku. Now, a top story. Former police officer Frederick Leliman has been sentenced to death for the murder of human rights lawyer Willie Kimani, his client Josephat Mwendwa, and a taxi driver Joseph Mwiruri. His accomplice Stephen Cheburet was sentenced to 30 years in prison, Sylvia Wanjiku 24 years, and police informer Peter Ngugi 20 years in each of the 3 counts of murder running concurrently. Sarafina Robbie with more from the corridors of justice.
Lost in thought, we catch up with elderly Willie Kimani's father, who has been coming to the court to see those who murdered his son brought to book.
Ile maombi nilikuwa naomba jana inatendeka ya maisha na miaka 30 na hiyo ingine Mungu anafanya mpenda kwake.
6 years and 7 months since the murder of human rights lawyer Willie Kimani and his client Mwendwa and a taxi driver Joseph Mwiruri on the 23rd of June 2016, the High Court has convicted and sentenced 3 ex-police officers and a police informer who were found guilty on 3 counts of murder. Justice Jesse Lesit sentenced ex-police officer Frederick Leliman to death on account of murder.
The first accused is sentenced to death in each of the 3 counts. The death sentence in counts 2 and 3 are held in abeyance.
According to Justice Lesit, evidence on Leliman proved murder was premeditated several days before the date of the plot.
The murder was executed close by so that the victims could hear the thumping and blows being inflicted and the screams and shouts or groans of their colleagues as he was killed. The fact each knew they would be the next to face the same fate, this must have caused them extreme fear, stress and psychological torture.
The court further found that Leliman had a personal vendetta against Mwendwa.
While he clearly had a grudge against the deceased Mwenda, he captured and killed the deceased Kimani and the deceased Mwiruri, not caring about their lives and the fact that they had not done anything to him to deserve what he did to them. They were collateral damage, and I must add that not that Mwenda deserved the judgment that he received.
Stephen Cheburet, who was sentenced to 30 years in prison on each of the 3 counts of murder running concurrently, was found to have stood by Leliman, had no vendetta, but took part in abduction. Sylvia Wanjiku, who was sentenced to 24 years in each of the 3 counts of murder running concurrently, was found to have been told to keep a keen look on the deceased persons, but did not take part in the murder.
Being a police officer with firm, stringent pecking order system, and being junior has significance in the need for discipline and order in the force. That discipline and order cannot include aiding, abetting, and enabling crime.
For the police informer, Peter Ngugi, who is to serve 20 years in each of the 3 counts of murder running concurrently, the court found that it's his confession that helped shape the investigations. Kimani, who worked for International Justice Mission, IGM, was abducted while leaving Mavokolo, tortured and killed alongside Mwenda and Moiruri. Their bodies were discovered a week later, dumped in a river in Machakos County. Families of the deceased and their legal team hailed the judgment delivered by Justice Jesse Lesit.
Okay, we had confidence with Jesse Lesit from the word go. Although haijakuwa rahisi, it was very tough, lakini Mungu ametushindania.
Actually, I was very hopeful that we are going to get justice. I had no doubt that they had committed the said crime.
Lakini mimi nimefurahia na hiyo uamuzi wa koti na Lesiti amefanya kitu ya maana sana.
But we believe that this sends a strong message to the people, especially the police officers who have been given the mandate to protect Kenyans.
And I'm told today by the executive director that it took them 2 years to just clear away his desk, to put away his things, because they were just so traumatized that they felt that if they put away these personal belongings, that somehow they were betraying his memory.
And so we need to be vigilant, we need to keep this fire burning and work with all other relevant stakeholders.
A number of judges handle the case, and the judge will handle most of the case. This is the seat.
The defense, however, is not happy with judgment, vowing to appeal.
You use one part of the confession to remove somebody else, yet the same confession is the same one that you're using to convict the first and second accused person. This is going to necessitate for us to go for an appeal.
According to Amnesty International, extrajudicial killings have gone down by 30% from 2021 to 2023 as they now view the judgment delivered on the murder of human rights lawyer Willie Kimani, his client and the taxi driver as the right precedent being set by the court as they continue to call on the government to increase vigilance to help end extrajudicial killings in the country. For Scales of Justice, Serafina Robi for Easy Friday.
And moving on, 6 million Hustler Fund borrowers will get a loan limit increase beginning this Saturday, 3rd February 2023. SACCOs and self-help groups will also borrow from the kitty at the end of this month when the government launches a credit facility for the same. This even as President William Ruto revealed that each of the 18 million Kenyans who have opted into the Hustler Fund will get a monthly financial grading outlining their credit score. Take a look.
At the 50th celebration of a Kenya Police SACCO with an asset base of 47 billion shillings. President William Ruto, the chief guest at the event, celebrating milestones made by 70,000 members. President Ruto hailing SACCOs as key drivers of the economy, imploring on Kenyans to employ the culture of saving for posterity.
You can only borrow what if you have the culture of saving. And even for us as a country, that is where we are going.
We are currently reviewing our policy to make sure that we can bring together our small-scale traders and hawkers and hustlers into a city SACCO in Nairobi County, so that they can also benefit from the economies of scale of being part of a movement of SACCO. And that Hustler SACCO in Nairobi will be the first one. So Waziri, please, hiyo tufanye pamoja.
As a ministry, we are working on various policy and regulatory frameworks to support and deepen financial inclusion among many Kenyans, more so those at the bottom of the pyramid.
If you can direct that at least 30% of the houses anywhere, they are reserved for police officers, the SACCO will be able to pay for the members at least 10% so that they can be able to start occupying the houses.
In line with the cooperative philosophy of concern for the community, Kenya National Police City SACCO has been able to take part in various CSR initiatives, with the flagship being the sponsorship of bright and needy children of the deceased members through secondary education to the university level.
At the same time, President Ruto announced a loan limit increase for 6 million subscribers of the Hustlers Fund beginning tomorrow.
6 million members of the Hustler Fund will from tomorrow access more money than they have accessed, and we are going to review the credit limit of every member every 4 months. We will add an additional ceiling for you so that we can grow everybody and we can look at everybody.
The government will launch yet another credit program under the Hustler Fund, where SACCOs and self-help groups will become eligible to borrow at the end of February.
Wale wamama wako kwa chama, wale wamama wako kwa group, wale wengine wako kwa SACCO fulani, kuanzia mwisho wa mwezi huu, sasa tutakuwa na product ya pili ambayo itakuwa ni product ya watu wako kwa vyama, wako kwa groups, wako kwa SACCO, pia waweze kufaidika na pesa ambayo iko na riba ya chini.
With 800,000 Kenyans yet to honor their obligations to repay the Hustler Fund loan, President Ruto revealed that every borrower will get a credit review every 4 months. Borrowers will also get a monthly financial grading, leading them on modalities of increasing their loan limit.
Number 1, it is paying. Number 2, repaying on time. Number 3, borrowing regularly. Number 4, saving regularly. That will earn you bonga points that will add you the amount of money you can borrow from the Hustler Fund.
To aid the operations of a cooperative movement, the head of state pledged a review of the legal framework, underscoring the place of such movements in the economic empowerment agenda. John Jacob Curia, Easy Friday.
Now, Inspector General of Police Japhet Koome has downplayed the scaling down of former President Uhuru Kenyatta's security, saying it's a normal procedure in the police service. Speaking in Mombasa, Koome insisted that the downscale of the security personnel is just but rationalization of the human resource structure, but not a political move.
Inspector General of Police Japhet Koome has defended his orders to scale down, redeploy, as well as withdraw security personnel from retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, as well as former cabinet secretaries and VIPs. Koome said the move is part of a wider raft of rationalization of personnel within the police service.
Yule Inspector Generali alistaafu, ako shambani kwake, ako nyumbani kwake. Anahitaji security kama yule ambaye yuko ofisini. Jameni, tuseme ukweli, tupende nchi yetu. Kila mwananchi wa nchi hii anahitaji ulinzi. Hakuna haja mimi nikistaafu niwe na askari 100 kukaa na mimi, na askari wanahitajika kule wasaidie wananchi. Ndio tuhakikishe kuna utulivu kwa nchi yetu, because no country can develop if there is no security.
The police boss refuted allegations that security detail attached to the former First Lady, Mama Ngina Kenyatta, had been withdrawn. Appealed to the affected parties to refrain from sensationalizing the issue.
She has security, not just the former First Lady, even our two late presidents. They have security. We secure their premise. Yes, we do that. We respect those offices. We provide security. That's the position.
The IG further defended claims of arming disproportionately police reservists in clash-prone areas, affirming confidence of the government in containing the situation.
Now, the government has released 2.7 billion shillings university loans and bursaries to the Higher Education Loans Board for 180,000 students. The development comes after Kenya University Student Organization held protest in Nairobi on Friday, demanding the immediate release of Higher Education Loans Board funds. Trevor Ngendo with the details.
At the center of the capital city, Nairobi, street after street, Kenya University University Students' Organization leaders on the front line. The students then marching to the National Treasury, demanding to be heard.
Education is the only equilibrium that unites comrades all over the country. And that cannot be jeopardized by the financial constraint the Treasury is putting into place.
Now in cooperative university, the registration is already over. We have to look for other means to pay our school fees. And our right is to get the help. And we've tried accessing the help officers, who unfortunately have been taking us for a ride. Yes. Plus the Treasury were here this week, and we gave them a promise that if they don't release help in time, by today, Friday, we shall be here in Sporting Regalia so that we can demonstrate to them the comrades what? Comrades what?
Demands the students are making include allocation and immediate release of 2.7 billion shillings to the Higher Education and Loans Board and an additional 1.5 billion shillings for the over 100,000 first-time help loan applicants on the waiting list.
When diplomacy fails, then force applies. We are here to apply force to enable the National Treasury and help to release the funds to our fellow students. Comrades, viva!
The government through the National Treasury, through who?
The National Treasury
needs to prioritize education, comrades and university funding so that comrades can register for their units. Can do what?
Register for their units.
And it seems their plea has finally been heard. The government has announced the immediate release of 2.7 billion shillings to the Higher Education and Loans Board for disbursement.
HELP gets money on quarterly basis. The first quarter from 1st of August to 30th September was released to HELP. Sawa. The first quarter. Second quarter is from 1st October to 31st December. It has also been released. The third quarter starts from 1st of January to 30th of March, which has again, na hatujafika that date, it has again been released.
At the same time, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu has directed universities to ensure all beneficiaries of government loans and bursaries are allowed to sit their end of semester examinations as scheduled. Trevor Ngindo for Easy Friday.
Meanwhile, immediate former Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha will be laid to rest on Saturday, February 11th, 2023 at his rural home in Umiru Nyamninia home in Jamsia County. However, there will be 3 major events prior to his final journey. Ruth Wamboy has the details.
11 days after the demise of former Education CS Professor George Magoha, the funeral committee has released the program of events leading to his burial. The spokesperson, Dr. Julius Juan, said the 3-day events have been planned to pay homage to the life of the fallen academic giant.
The family wishes to inform Kenyans that the former Education Cabinet Secretary will be laid to rest at his home in Umiru Nyamninia Yala.
On Wednesday, February 8th, 2023, the cottage will move from Lee Funeral Home and embark on a procession to some of the places that defined his professional life. The first stopover of the remains of the late Professor George Magoha on Wednesday next week from Lee Funeral Home will be at the College of Health Sciences, which is under the University of Nairobi, signifying the magnitude of the university during his life.
Was responsible for the construction of the tower, and especially the financing was in-house, which is a big thing. And he's a role model because he served his country when it needed him. He moved from well-paying job in Nigeria to Kenya.
Few times they've interacted by hapa shule. He was very welcoming in his own special way. He was also very strict, but he was a good person, that's what I would say. He was very academic oriented. The reforms alileta shule imetusaidia juu kila mtu anajua UN na story ya missing marks na story ya kufuatana na lecturers, lakini when he was here it was a bit like streamlined.
The Nigerian High Commission Office, being a key pillar to the late Professor Magoha's academic path, as he trained as a medical practitioner at the University of Lagos, is also among the places he will visit one more time, albeit in a casket. On Thursday, February 9th, 2023, a requiem mass will be held at the Consolata Shrines in Westlands from 9 a.m.
This important mass that will celebrate his life and what he always believed in, which was always guided by his deep Catholic faith.
Then, a day after, on February 10th, the remains of the former education CS will be flown to Township Primary School in Yala, Siaya County.
Professor Magoha was always in the midst of children and students. This explains why we are focusing on the schools where he had a major impact on the young people.
The funeral mass service will be held on Saturday, February 11th at Odera Akango University campus in Yala, and thereafter a burial at his Umiru Nyamninia home in Game, Siaya County. Ruth Wamboy for Easy Friday.
Cancer is a leading cause of death in Kenya with significant physical, social and economic consequences. The National Cancer Institute of Kenya, together with its stakeholders, will hold the National Cancer Summit from 2nd to 3rd February 2023 at Safari Park Hotel, Nairobi. The goal of the summit is to take stock of the cancer response in Kenya and to inspire accelerated collective action across all sectors. The event will be live on KBC Channel 1. In addition, the National Cancer Institute invites members of the public for free cancer screening and other government services at Kasarani Primary School from 2nd to 4th February 2023.
Stop searching in wrong places. Billions in unclaimed cash and other assets are here for you. Unclaimed financial assets include bank accounts, insurance policies, and other financial assets belonging to people just like you. Don't let your assets remain unclaimed. Take a few minutes to check and see if you have any unclaimed financial assets. Claiming your assets is easy. Simply visit www.ufaa.go.ke, dial *361# or visit Huduma Center near you. Labda umeomoka na ujui? The Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite. Commodities Fund is a government agency under the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development mandated to provide low-cost financing to crop sector in Kenya. The fund informs clients, stakeholders and members of the public in general that we have relocated our Nairobi offices from Railways headquarters to Utalii House 11th floor along Utalii Street off Uhuru Highway. As from 1st February 2023, our new postal address is Commodities Fund Utalii House 11th floor, Utalii Street off Uhuru Highway, PO Box 52714, code 00200 Nairobi, Kenya. For farms operations, agro-processing, value addition, working capital, access loans at an interest rate as little as 3% per annum.
Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto. Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Kisha weka star na nambari yako ya simu. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2,000.
Aulali.
Lipa kisha subiri draw. Welala. Nitakutimizia ndoto zako. Milioni 2 usiamini. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB.
Your bro is everything you told me he will be. Alafu ni mro safi.
Why do you passionately hate yourself?
I'm a one-woman kind of man, sawa?
Is this what they pay you for?
I can't live without her.
You can't.
He's actually stalking me. Walichukua photocopy ama walichukua original?
Walichukua original.
Hiyo ni wizi. Mimi sitakubali kuwa na co-wife. Kwa kimila, mtoto wa kijana ndio urithi boma ya baba yake.
Hapo ni kweli.
Wenye nyumba wako wapi sijawaona? Ndio hao unaona. Tayari ushabadilisha serikali. Inaitangwa hostile takeover.
Saki mlete fujo.
Lakini wakileta fujo, nayo.
Just the mention of that name alone in this house creates a lot of drama.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
I'm tired of feeling like this. I have to go back to the way I was before I met him. And if I have to get out of here and be very far from him, then that's what I'll have to do.
You should have stayed in the past, Tulio. And you're never coming back. You never had any children. Fabiola is mine.
And this only means that you're still connected to her. And that you're still her property.
Not a single person owns me, Malena. I had a first wife before. But you are my wife right now.
Then why don't you take that picture away and hang up mine instead? Why did you tell me that you'll take me with you, but no, you couldn't do it anymore? Well, if you both want to leave this house, then you both still have time. Little by little, I will become the only owner of this property.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
To interact with us, do find us on social media at Easy Friday, and that's of course at KBC Channel 1. That's the hashtag Easy Friday at Shiksha Arora. Now, moving on. The processing of national identity cards for residents in border counties will be reduced to 21 days. Cabinet Secretary for Interior Professor Kithure Kindiki said the move follows a commitment by the government to safeguard the rights to citizenship and legal identity. Speaking during a 2-day tour in northeastern part of Kenya to assess the security situation in the area, Professor Kithure Kindiki, in response to numerous complaints and concerns over delayed identity cards, issued a directive to the civil registration officials to review and fix up their operation modes with an immediate effect. The CS, who held a public baraza with Moyale residents, promised to add more police officers to the area in a span of 1 week.
Mambo ya IDs nimesema, we don't want any more waiting for 3 years, 2 years, 1 year. It is unfair that some of our young people in some parts of the country can wait for an identity card for 3 years, while in other places they are getting it in 2 weeks. So I have said the committees that are responsible and the Department of the National Registration Bureau must work hard to ensure they shorten that period to 14 days of vetting and 7 days for the issuance of the IDs. The rest are logistics. We will work around to facilitate these committees to ensure that that is achieved in the shortest time possible. Nimeamrisha idara ya usalama hapa ikiongozwa na County Commissioner wa hapa Marsabit pamoja na County Police Commander wahakikisha ya kwamba we are able to patrol our borders ili wale watu wanapitisha bidhaa haramu na bangi mihadarati na kupitisha watu ili kuwezesha biashara haramu ya binadamu. Tungetaka hii boda ikuwe patrolled, na nimesema nitarudi hapa mwisho wa mwezi kuhakikisha kwamba hiyo operesheni ya border patrol imetekelezwa.
Meanwhile, in health, stakeholders of the health sector are calling for collaborative efforts between the state and non-state actors to stop the acceleration of cancer. Led by AMREF Chief Executive Officer Givinji Gitahi, the stakeholders said there is need to strengthen action plans on cancer prevention and remodel healthcare financing to ensure quality and sustainable health services towards prevention and treatment of cancer.
The chairman, please. Because
as the international community prepares to mark the World Cancer Day, stakeholders in Kenya are calling for commitment of various stakeholders towards reducing cancer burden by ensuring those diagnosed access quality treatment. During the last day of the Cancer Summit, themed Uniting Our Voices and Taking Action, health stakeholders call for remodeling of healthcare financing to reduce the cancer burden on Kenyans, who from time to time are forced to seek medical attention overseas due to inadequate facilities in the country.
It is us who have to go back and tell the people, please go back to the traditional foods. It is us who have to tell people, please stop smoking. It is us who have to tell people, reduce the consumption of alcohol. It is us who have to activate for the government to increase allocation to cancer from 2%, 0.5% actually, of our total health budget. Only 0.5% of our total health budget goes to cancer.
The need to stop the acceleration of cancer in the country and to focus on improving quality of service and equity in access to health benefits among all Kenyans, and more so, the most vulnerable in our communities. We appreciate that we can achieve this through collaboration, partnership among national and county governments, development partners, private sector, CSOs, and communities.
Top 3 reported cancer cases being breast cancer at 15.9%, cervical cancer at 13.3%, and esophagus cancer at 11.8%. Stakeholders want diagnostic infrastructure advanced across the country, as well as increased sensitization to ensure cancer cases are noted at early stages of screening.
Cancer is not a technical issue. It has social dimensions, has political dimensions, and therefore involves everybody. It's actually a whole of society issue. We know that on the prevention side, we are talking about the food we eat. We are talking about how cities are planned. We are talking about lifestyle. We are talking about urbanization and what urbanization does to the risk factors of cancer. We are talking about the national environmental management. We are talking about climate change. We are talking about pollution. We are talking about all these things, and therefore we cannot assume that it is a Ministry of Health issue on its own.
Build the capacity of healthcare workers, especially at primary healthcare facilities, to strengthen early detection of cancer, and community health workers on how to package messages for the community members about cancer risk factors and disease prevention.
In the 2021-2022 report by the National Cancer Institute of Kenya, Nairobi, Nakuru, Kiambu, Machakos and Nyeri lead with the highest cases of cancer reported. For Easy Friday, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Now, in the Kikuyu community, male circumcision is a cultural ritual, a rite of passage that transitions an individual from boyhood to adulthood. And of course, this is the story that we are going to be playing in a short while. And once the boy attains the circumcision age and undergoes the cut, he is ceremoniously reunited with his family. The reunion event is called Itunga, which is our focus tonight on My Culture, a KBC weekly segment with Jacqueline Wambiru.
Ne gochocho, bukamana ndi umeiria ne ngogeraira.
Muiga, Nyeri County, preparations are underway. A ceremony is set to be held in honor of a young man who has transitioned from boyhood to adulthood. The young man went away as a boy and came out as a man days later after undergoing the traditional Kikuyu rite of passage of initiation.
For the period that he has remained in the Council of Elders there, he has been receiving training about how he is going to carry himself from this moment onward.
The celebration, dubbed Itoga, is a special day that reunites the young man with his family after undergoing initiation. Initiation is the second phase of life. The first phase is birth, then initiation, followed by marriage, and lastly death, in reference to the community's beliefs, culture and tradition. Led by a group of Kikuyu elders, family and friends converge at the entrance of the homestead in the way to receive the young man back from initiation. Twigs are placed on the gate and on the ground at the entrance of the homestead. Intestinal secretions are smeared on the gate and on the back of a tree. The young man's transition from childhood to adulthood begins at the ceremony, open for all, full of songs and dance. At the entrance, the young man removes his shoes and steps into the intestinal secretions.
Nasaidia mtoto aikanyanga na miguu yake. Ili kama miguu yake ilikuwa imekanyanga kitu mbaya, mikosi itolewe na hiyo tadha. Toka hapo kuna ile miti ya mekanyanga kiongozwa na ile mti mkubwa ya fig tree ama mugumo.
He is accompanied by a young man known as Mutiri, who has been a guide through the process.
Akalakiwa na wakina mama na watoto wadogo, msichana na kijana. Juu hao hawajagusana na vitu mingi, hawana hiyo mikosi. Wakamuongoza mpaka akaenda akaketi, akakaa kwenye ile kiti ya wazee.
As all these transitions, the young man Mutiri sits beside him and enjoys the same treatment accorded to the young man.
Huyo kijana sasa ndiye amemshikilia. Huyo kijana ndiye atakuwa anamuongoza. Walikuwa na yeye jadoni na wakatoka na yeye na watakuwa na yeye mpaka siku hiyo 30 ishe. Toka hapo yeye atakuwa anamtembelea. Kuna ile zawadi atapewa na baba yake huyo kijana. Anapewa beberu na atapewa ile asali ya kumshukuru.
Later on, an elder brings forth the shoulder of a goat and meat prepared by his father. The initiate and his right-hand man both take the bite and spit it and then proceed.
Yes, mwenye ameanza tohara. Tohara ni akina mababu. Sasa yeye akikula wakule pamoja na mababu ili hata wao jo wamemleta hii duniani wakuwe wanamshikilia, wanamuongoza.
The ceremony is now official and everyone can now partake of the meals. Still adorned in the Kikuyu traditional cloth, which is tied with a knot, the young man is accompanied by his right-hand man, where they sing and dance as others join in. Later on, the cloth adorned by the new adult is pinned on him by Mutiri.
Ukienda kwa askari wanapewa ile pete. Hizo zinamuongoza kwa maisha yake. Akianzio na hiyo ya huyo kijana alikuwa na yeye jadoni.
The pins are taken off one by different individuals every time, followed by ululation.
Kuna hiyo ya kwanza hapa ya bega, hiyo inatolewa na huyo kijana amemshikilia. Hizo zingine zinafuatana ya kina baba, ya niko na ya ule walitahiri na baba yake, na hiyo ingine ni ya rafiki.
The traditional cloth is then removed and handed over to the initiate's mother, who ought to keep it as a reminder.
Ametoka ile ya huko kwa jadoni, na mambo ya jadoni imeachwa huko. Sasa ameingia nyumbani. Sasa amekaa kama mtu wa kawaida. Lakini kitambo wakati wa mababu zetu alikuwa anakaa na hiyo shuka, lakini alikuwa anabadilishiwa hiyo, anapewa ingine.
The second part of the ceremony kicks off, dubbed Ideba, which is the giving of gifts to the new adult. Various gifts are brought forth, including a gourd containing traditional brew. Led by the young man's father, the group sing and dance, ushering in this session. The young man receives various traditional gifts, including a shield, a spear, bow and arrows, among others.
Shahada kama ile mtu anapewa akimaliza shule ama akifanya mtihani. Alikuwa kwa mtihani ya tohara. Sasa hiyo amepewa ni kumuonyesha ametimiza na kila kitu iko na maana yake.
His father then blesses him by spitting traditional brew murachina on his head, hands and legs. This is followed by ululation. The blessing ritual is then repeated by his uncle, followed by ululation.
Kutoka hapo mama yake kuna ile mafuta atampaka ile ya kutimiza hiyo baraka zote amebarikiwa na baba yao.
Once this is complete, the celebration continues amid heavy rainfall as the celebrants indulge in food and traditional brew, muratina.
Huyo kijana atakaa siku 30 kama hajaingiana na watu sana mpaka ile siku 30 kisha akubaliwe kuingiana na watu ili awe kijana.
Reporting for My Culture, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
Nimesahau kucheza Loto Moto. Usisahau kucheza Loto Moto. Shinda milioni 2 kila siku kwenye M-Pesa. Chagua lipa na M-Pesa. Paybill number 757070. Account number andika neno Loto. Kisha weka star na nambari yako ya simu. Weka kiwango chochote cha pesa kuanzia shilingi 50 hadi 2000.
Aulali.
Lipa kisha subiri draw. Welala. Nitakutimizia ndoto zako. Milioni 2 usiamini. Ujumbe huu umeidhinishwa na BCLB.
Unclaimed financial assets include bank accounts, insurance policies, and other financial assets belonging to people just like you. Don't let your assets remain unclaimed. Take a few minutes to check and see if you have any unclaimed financial assets.
Building the resilience of young persons is actually involving them from all the steps. I mean, all the steps, all the way from planning to the implementation.
5% of employment is reserved for persons with disability. Watu walemavu wana access kandarasi ya serikali through what we call access to government procurement opportunities.
GBV cases tend to be very
easy.
high.
Simply visit www.ufaa.go.ke, dial *361# or visit Huduma Center near you. Labda umeomoka na ujui? The Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. Receive, safeguard, reunite.
Your bro is everything you told me he will be. Alafu ni mro safi.
Why do you passionately hate yourself?
I'm a one-woman kind of man, sawa?
Is this what they pay you for?
I can't live without her.
You can't? He's actually stalking me. Walichukua photocopy ama walichukua original?
Walichukua original.
Hiyo ni wizi. Mimi sitakubali kuwa na wife. Kwa kimila, mtoto wa kijana ndio urithi boma ya baba yake.
Hapo ni kweli.
Wenye nyumba wako wapi sijawaona? Ndio hao unaona. Tayari ushabadilisha serikali. Inaitangwa hostile takeover.
Saki mlete fujo.
Lakini wakileta fujo, nayo.
Just the mention of that name alone in this house creates a lot of drama.
I don't know. Okay, right away. No.
It's on my phone.
Can you say what the phone call has done to Adidu?
Maybe someone has expired, you never know.
You just need a good sour and a change of clothes. Unanuka.
You are very happy, Sidio. Kenyaji Pudamuria. Okay.
I don't know about you, but this stench has become too much.
I want to confirm if I am dreaming.
But good job, Amina Juna.
Wait, what is wrong with you? Let me...
Cancer is a leading cause of death in Kenya with significant physical, social and economic consequences. The National Cancer Institute of Kenya, together with its stakeholders, will hold the National Cancer Summit from 2nd to 3rd February 2023 at Safari Park Hotel, Nairobi. The goal of the summit is to take stock of the cancer response in Kenya and to inspire accelerated collective action across all sectors. The event will be live on KBC Channel 1. In addition, the National Cancer Institute invites members of the public for free cancer screening and other government services at Kasarani Primary School from 2nd to 4th February 2023.
Good evening and thank you for keeping it easy Friday. Time to get the latest in the world of business. My name is Betty Kiptum. Now, the cost of food production using irrigation is likely to drastically increase following implementation of the Water Resources Regulations of 2021. Water and Irrigation Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome is being urged to halt implementation of the regulations to reduce charges for water meant for irrigation, domestic use and electricity generation.
Water bills are set to increase in the wake of increased regulatory charges on water. The Water Resources Regulations of 2021 have come into effect, pushing up regulatory levies for water from the previous 50 cents per cubic meter to as much as 5 shillings per cubic meter for domestic use. Under the new tariff guidelines, each service provider is expected to recover its full cost of providing services in the medium to long term and leave a surplus to allow them to improve infrastructure. Given the importance of irrigation, the new tariffs are likely to significantly increase costs. This has prompted farmers to call on Water and Irrigation Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome to review the charges.
Tunasema serikali ikae chini kama waziri mpya wa maji, Madam Honorable Alice Wahome, tukae pamoja na vikundi ya Community Water Project. Wajadiliane kulingana na hii sheria, tuseme kama ni shilingi moja vile ilikuwa imesemwa iongezwe na shilingi moja, hiyo ni sawa, lakini mara 10 inakuwa gumu sana kwa wananchi.
They say if implementation of the new charges is not stopped, the cost of foodstuff is likely to rise further.
Naomba serikali itoe hizo taxes ndio sababu tuweze kuendelea na kutumia maji inavyowezekana.
Implementation of the Water Resources Regulations of 2021 has increased the rate of regulatory levy for water meant for irrigation, domestic use, hydropower generation, fish farming, and industrial use. Ndutamo Kami for Easy Friday.
And Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has flagged off thousands of bags of subsidized fertilizer destined for the country's agricultural bread baskets. Speaking at Mombasa Railway Terminus when he saw off the train transporting the subsidized fertilizer, Gachagua said the government has hastened the distribution of the subsidized fertilizer so that farmers could access it in time for the planting season that starts next month.
Registered farmers in 12 pilot counties are expected to start receiving the subsidized fertilizer after the first batch of the 6 million bags of the chemical was flagged off today. The counties set to benefit from the subsidy program are Nakuru, Bungoma, Narok, Uasin Gishu, Trans Nzoia, West Pokot, Migori, Kakamega, Bomet, Kericho, Elgeyo Marakwet and Nandi. The Deputy President flagged off the first batch of 17,840 bags destined for Nakuru County and another similar batch headed to Webuye in Bungoma County.
Transporters, so that the transportation of this commodity is done very efficiently so that farmers can access the fertilizer at a cost of 3,500. The rest of the cost will be borne by government. in time for the planting season.
The government plans to import 6 million bags of subsidized fertilizer to significantly reduce the cost of production of staple foods, such as maize and other cereals.
To our farmers, to enable them to increase their yield, and that will automatically bring down the cost of food, and more so our staple food, that is maize meal.
Gachagua urged contracted companies for subsidized fertilizer program to consider employing more people to speed up the blending processes before the mid-next month deadline.
We want the management to do 2 shifts or even 3 shifts, so that even as we produce more fertilizer for our farmers, we also create employment for our young people.
So far, 3.8 million farmers have registered for the Fertilizer Subsidy program. Besson Droba reporting for Easy Friday.
Now, the proposed central liquidity system where SACCOs can borrow will be run on a digital platform once the bill before Parliament is enacted. Head of Corp Consultancy and Bancassurance Intermediary, Nicholas Kamonye, says most SACCOs still face challenges moving operations to the digital space, but efforts are underway to create a shared online platform for collaboration.
The use of mobile money as a channel of payment in Kenya has increased from 11% in 2019 to 36% in 2022. The tripling of this use stems from the shift during the COVID era, where many individuals and organizations shifted to its use for convenience. SACCOs, however, have been slow in digitizing services, a fact that has led to a decline in the use of traditional banking methods by almost 6% from 2019 to 2022.
What the SACCOs have done is that they've come together, formed a task force that is basically running that. Their regulator, SASTRA, is also basically championing it from the government end. And the main aim is to basically help them pool their funds together to also make inter-SACCO borrowing easy.
SACCOs now say they're adopting digital operations for use by their members and are digitizing a majority of their operations.
We have really invested in technology. The mobile banking that we call the virtual banking, the internet banking. So we are able now to be able to pay the member at the level where you are. We use the POS, that's point of sale. We use even agency banking. So they don't need to come to the bank for the purpose of doing transaction with the business.
To this effect, most SACCOs will diversify their loan portfolio following the support from other SACCOs, giving members more options.
With the central liquidity, it is the best thing because they have a platform to borrow from each other, rather than the way it is today, that they lack a forum or a platform where they can borrow money directly from each other. Yes.
So we currently have legislation in Parliament that is enabling that. It's yet to be passed at Parliament level. So we expect that once it's enabled, then the SACCOs will be able to have a platform where they can be able to lend to one another and basically increase the confidence that is there among members that if you are able to issue a check from SACCO A to SACCO B, then that will be paid and that it will be faster.
Kenya has the best cooperative movement in Africa and ranks 7th in the world. And with the advancement, they reckon more progress could be achieved. SACCOs say they're looking towards increasing MSME registrations as a key contributor to the economy and are exploring ways to support them.
And CEOs are optimistic that business activities will this year improve, supported by the government's focus on specific sectors. A survey by the central bank, however, established that CEOs were concerned about rising taxes, costlier electricity and uncertainty of the global conditions.
The Central Bank of Kenya's first quarter CEOs survey established that business activity was on a positive trajectory, attributed to government focus on specific sectors such as agriculture, building and construction, ICT, as well as opportunities in the financial services sector. A majority of CEOs in the manufacturing sector project full recovery from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, they are concerned about the high cost of credit and rising taxes, citing excise tax that could result in higher levels of trade in contraband products, leading to loss of revenue for manufacturers and the government. The CEOs are alarmed over revision upward of taxes, high interest rates, the rising cost of electricity, and a weak shilling, which could dampen the country's growth prospects.
Currently, we are trading at an all-time high of 127, 128, and stable Kenya shilling.
Firms in the tourism, financial and ICT sectors are optimistic of renewed investor interest by international companies due to deployment of new technology and diversification of product portfolios. The CEOs expect that demand, orders, production, volumes and sales to improve even as they project economic conditions remain largely unchanged. The survey indicates that customer centricity, talent management and expansion into new markets will be the key drivers of private sector growth this year. Wairi Mujenga for Easy Friday.
Well, that's it for the business news this evening. Sports news is coming up. Karen Kibet is on standby on the other side of studio. But first, Easy Friday will take a quick break. That's it for the business. My name is Betty Kiptum. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good night.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. My name is Karen Kibet. I hope you're enjoying your evening. Let's delve into sports matters. The National Youth Service team lost their second match 45-27 to Kayole Giants on day 4 of the ongoing Kabaddi League at the Kasarani Indoor Gymnasium. The league is being used to select a national team that will participate in the forthcoming International Kabaddi Championship set to be held in March in Bangladesh.
Kayole Giants dominated their opponent to back crucial point after registering a 45-27 victory over National Youth Service Kabaddi team. Following the win, Kayole Giants will now face TAC in their next match.
What I've been doing is training. A lot of training for my guys. I've been trying to train more raiders because in raiding is where you get more points. So I've been training my players so that the raiders can be sharp. They understand that the defense there is so tight, so they should get maybe bonus point and maybe touch point when necessary.
And the game was very, very nice, though it was having some challenges, but we are going to correct some few challenges, the mistakes we did. But we are hoping for the next game we will win.
In another match, Githurai Cheetahs registered their 4th win after thrashing University of Nairobi Tigers 61-52, while Machako University lost 22-57 to TAC. The organizer of Kabaddi League, Laventa Oguta, said the Kabaddi Federation has put in place proper strategies to make the sport popular.
Kabaddi is in the syllabus, the CBC syllabus, so we are now working with schools to make sure we spread the game to the counties. And we also have county federations, we have county clubs that are playing Kabaddi. This time around we want to demonstrate Kabaddi to the school games this year, that we may have it introduced to the curriculum next year so that we have Kabaddi played as a sport in the school curriculum.
The overall winner of the month-long tournament, which culminates on the 28th of next month, will be awarded cash prizes and trophies. 2 bottom-place sides will be relegated, while 2 other sides will gain promotion to feature in the second leg of Allied Championships. The second leg is expected to be held in May. The league is being used to select the national team that will participate in the forthcoming International Kabaddi Championship set to be held in March in Bangladesh. Kingori Mwangi for Channel 1 Sports.
Thank you, Kingori, for that report. Moving on, Kilifi-based Kelvin Muhindi silenced Stanley Okole from Vihiga on points in the light welterweight category as the 2023 Boxing Federation of Kenya Novices Championship got underway at Umoja 1 Boxing Hall in Nairobi. George Wangai lost to Fred Nyutu from Trans Nzoia in the same weight category. Lee Njorohio of Nairobi A humbled Caleb Wandera from Nakuru on points, while Asharaf Ouma saw off Caleb Juma from Kajiado. In the lightweight category, Robert Wambugu of Nairobi A defeated Jabul Hussein from Siaya on points. Elisha Omondi from Homa Bay lost to Abdul Mageli, while Joseph Adolusi from Nairobi defeated Idi Komora from Mombasa in the welterweight category. Paul Kimani from Kiambu silenced Michael Mutumo from Kilifi. The Kenya Novices Championship was attended by top boxing officials, among them Boxing Federation of Kenya President Anthony Ombok and Sports Cabinet Secretary Ababu Namwamba. The championship is expected to end this weekend. On to matters athletics, 2-time world and Olympic 1500-meter champion Faith Kipyegon and Stanley Waithaka-Mburu are among the big names expected to be in action at the Siriko Cross Country Classic set to be held tomorrow at the Lobo Village in Eldoret. The event is the third big cross-country competition to take place in Kenya in the past 2 weeks, following the Kenyan Championships on the 21st of January and the Discovery Cross Country event on 29th of January in Eldoret. Kipyegon will be the big attraction in the seniors women 10-kilometer race alongside 2016 World Half Marathon silver medalist Cynthia Limo, 2016 Kenyan 1500-meter champion Judith Kieng, and 2019 Africa Games champion Quailin Kiprop. Bahrain's 2017 World Marathon champion Rose Chelimo, Slovenian steeplechaser Marusa Mismas, and Romania's Stella Ruto are among the international contenders. Top lady amateur Naomi Wafula will be the lone Kenyan playing to make the cut at this year's edition of the Magical Kenya Ladies Open. Wafula is among 62 golfers who will play in the weekend at the Par 73 Vipingo Ridge Baobab course in Kilifi County.
After an opening round of 6 over par 73, Naomi Wafula had 3 birdies but dropped 6 shots for 3 over par 76 at the par 73 Vipingo Ridge Baobab course to finish joint 62nd for 9 over par 155 and make cut at this year's Magical Kenya Ladies Open.
And I can say I played much better than yesterday. And I had a great time out there, especially the fact that I was playing with Aditi, who's the current leader, and I really enjoyed.
2-time Olympian Adita Shok of India held on to the lead after a round of 3 under par 70 for a total of 9 under par 137.
Also, I wasn't hitting it as good as yesterday, so I wasn't having many close birdie putts. It's more like 15-20 footers, which I didn't hold many. I just hold the one on 10. So yeah, it was good considering I wasn't hitting it great. You know, it was good that I could get around with just one bogey all day.
Thailand's April Angrasarani is second on 4 under par 142, while Spaniard Marta Sanz Barrio is third on 3 under par 143. Elsewhere, Lisa Pettersson of Sweden was today awarded by event sponsors the EABL after a hole-in-one at the par 3 8th yesterday. Pettersson goes into moving day joint 44th after a 2-round score of 7 over par 153.
I had about 140 meters, about 155 yards, and I hit an 8-iron that I aimed a little bit right and let the wind take it in, and then it landed about 5 paces short and bounced in. So, yeah.
The Magical Kenya Open is the opening round of the Ladies European Tour and has a prize fund of 300,000 euros. For Easy Friday, I am Daniel Wahome.
And Daniel Wahome's report brings us to the end of the sports news tonight. My name is Karen Kibet. Do have yourself a lovely evening and weekend ahead. I hand you back to my colleague Shiksha Arora.
All right, thank you very much for that, Karen. Remember, it doesn't end here. We've still got some more entertainment lined up for you, but thank you so much for your company. It has been a great edition of Easy Friday. We'll do it again next time, same place, same time. My name is Shiksha Arora. Of course, the sign language interpreter has been Susan Thuku. Now, I'll be handing you over to DJ Coljax. Remember, it's Friday, and here on Easy Friday, we like to take things a little bit easy after 10 p.m. So Coljax will be giving you that Friday fever. Coljax, over to you.
It's gotta be DJ Coljax. Hottest in the game.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 as your skiza tune, dial star 811 star 967 hash.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, dial star 811 star 967 hash. Star 811 star 967 hash.
Stop searching in wrong places. Billions in unclaimed cash and other assets are here for you. Unclaimed financial assets include bank accounts, insurance policies, and other financial assets belonging to people just like you. Don't let your assets remain unclaimed. Take a few minutes